Hi, everyone. Happy weekend. Welcome to Leisrealtalk. All right. As I was preparing for tonight's live stream, I changed the thumbnail 3 times. Um, when I started, I only was going to talk about Qin Gang's death. And then as I looked and looked, I found that there are other interesting perspectives related to his death. So now we're going to talk about not only his death, or the circumstances surrounding his death or his alleged death. But we're also going to talk about if his downfall is related to the former Wagner group, the former mercenary chief, um, uh, what's his name, Prigozhin, his mutiny attempt in June. So, you probably already know that the political media outlet, it's called Political. It had a sensational report that came out, I think it was December the 6th, and it just dropped a bombshell claiming that China's former foreign minister Qin Gang had died. Um, and the article said that he died from either suicide or torture, um, and he died in July, end of July. The article caused much debate because some people don't believe the claim. They found it too sensational, and they questioned the validity of the claim. But others feel relieved because they have suspected that Qin Gang had already died. So they feel a sense of relief now that a mainstream media has come out and confirmed what they have been believing. So the missing minister saga um, has this newest development, as there's a never dull moment in CCP's politics. So first of all, the Political's sensational report was not authored by a specific editor or reporter. It was published as by Political. It means that it was signed off by the media organization rather than an individual author. So obviously, it's a decision made by Political's editor-in-chief after going through internal procedures to decide the byline of the article. It would be a serious blow to Political's reputation if Qin Gang is still alive. And Beijing can easily prove that by releasing a video of him. So for that reason, I don't think we should discredit the Political article. Actually, I have been reading claims about the minister having died months ago. I mean, since months ago. It was more in the summer. It was more in the summer. It was in July and August. That's when the posts about his death was more how to say was going a little more viral than now. I mean, now it's viral again because of Political's article. But in August and July, there were a lot of posts, a lot of discussions within the Chinese language social media landscape. So at the time, I didn't report them to you because they appear a little too sensational to me, and I couldn't tell if they were true. So I did not tell you about them. Now, 4 months have passed, and a major Western media outlet unloaded the same rumors, and it piqued my interest, and I decided to revisit the earlier Chinese rumors. And I found that 90% of them have matched with the claims by Political. So I can no longer discredit the Chinese rumors that I read in the summer. And during the process of my investigation, I found a puzzling connection between Qin Gang and Russia's former mercenary chief. So tonight we'll analyze what I've found. At the end, I think I will do a survey to ask your opinion to see if there's a connection between Qin Gang and Prigozhin. So for the first half of this discussion, I will talk about Qin Gang's death, or alleged death and the circumstances surrounding that. And then the second half will talk about how his downfall may be related to the former Wagner Group's chief. Okay, so Politico's article is titled "China's Xi Goes Full Stalin with Purge." The article actually is not about Qin Gang. The article is about Xi Jinping's political purging and how that's causing political instability. But it mentioned Qin Gang's death, and it says the former foreign minister died either from suicide or torture in late July in the military hospital in Beijing that treats Chinese top leaders. Now, this matched with many claims on Chinese language social media that I saw. So first, let's talk about when did Qin Gang die? The earliest date of Qin's death was July 14th. That's the earliest date that I've seen. Some have said it's July the 16th, 17th. Those are the predominant dates that people use. There are posts that said he died in August, but most of the posts said he died in July, and this matched with Politico's claim that he died towards the end of July. Now, let's talk about the location of where he died. All sources claim he died in a military hospital, and there's no dispute. There are three military hospitals mentioned. Beijing's 301 hospital, which is the hospital where top leaders go for medical services, and most people believe he died there, as he was said to be taken away and held at the Huayi Hotel in southwest Beijing, and the hotel is only minutes away from the 301 hospital. Some Chinese sources said that he died in hospital 303, not 301, but 303. And I found this hospital is actually located in the city of Nanning in Guangxi province. And this is too far away from Beijing, and I think it's impossible. And it could have been just a typo. There are also sources that said that he died in Tianjin. And some people confirmed that it's in the or I shouldn't say confirmed, some people said that it's in the Armed Police General Hospital. Now, this is very possible because it's consistent with CCP's practice of holding people in a remote place for interrogation. So it's either in the 301 hospital in Beijing or this Armed Police General Hospital in Tianjin. Cause of death. Regarding the cause of Qin's death, Chinese rumors have identified a list of causes, from liver disease, heart disease, brain disease, to death by injection. No matter what the medical terms were used, there's one common theme in the many variations. That is, Qin died of a disease caused by medication. So can we interpret it as it's just a different way to say he died it's death by injection, right? So that's what all the different various rumors have confirmed. He died some disease by medication, right? And one version has it that he was executed by lethal injection. And he made two last wishes before he died. The first was he asked that his children be left alone and not be punished for his actions. And the second one was that to keep his crime a secret for 30 years. Now, according to CCP's rules, officials at his level who are executed can only make one deathbed request, but Xi Jinping granted Qin Gang two as an extra favor. So from the day that Qin Gang from the day he was removed, which was June 26, because he was last seen on June 25th. So from the day he was removed to the day he died, let's assume he died towards the end of July, that's about a month. And that's a very short period of time, right? In CCP's speed of investigation. And if he died on July the 14th, that's the earliest date that we've seen, that's not even 3 weeks. So the question is, what made Xi Jinping so mad at Qin Gang? What did he actually do? Well, now let's talk about the circumstances surrounding his alleged crime and death. The political media and the Chinese internet rumors all attributed to his involvement in leaking sensitive nuclear information to the West, and that's the United States in this case. And Qin, excuse me, and Qin didn't do this alone. The rocket force is also part of it. Some Chinese claim that 10 PLA officers have also been executed, but these people weren't given any leniency. The former foreign minister received leniency by being granted death by injection. Now, the political report only mentioned a serious espionage case and mentioned the commander of the rocket force, Li Yuchao. His name, right? Now, it didn't. The political report did not go into details, but the various Chinese rumors on X gave a lot more details. So according to the former boss of a Chinese investment firm, and this firm is called Yihe Capitals, said his sources in Beijing told him that Li Yuchao's son who was recruited by the CIA when obviously when he was studying in the United States and became a US spy. And a wiretap had been planted under Li Yuchao's shoulder badge or lapel pins. And General Li was unaware of the wiretap in his uniform. And he had been carrying it everywhere, allowing the CIA to obtain sensitive information. And when he was arrested, he was actually taken away from a conference room when he was conducting a meeting. So when he was arrested or taken away, staff members from the Xi Jinping office, and that's the name of the office, right? The leader has an office, the Xi Jinping office. So staff members from the Xi Jinping office were on site, and they ripped off Li's lapel pin and then the shoulder badge and found the wiretap. And it's said that Xi Jinping was furious. So to summarize Politico's report and the Chinese internet posts, they agree on the following four statements, shall we say. The first one is Qin Gang was executed for being involved in leaking sensitive nuclear weapon information related to the rocket force or handled by the rocket force. And number two is the son of the rocket force commander was compromised by the CIA. Number three, Qin Gang's mistress, TV anchor woman Fu Xiaotian, was a double agent. She is both a CCP agent and an American-British spy. And the report by Politico suggests that Fu might have been recruited by the West when she was studying at Cambridge University. Number four, Xi Jinping only learned of the espionage case after a Russian tip-off. Now, let's talk about how Qin Gang's case is related to the Wagner Group chief or the former Wagner Group chief, Prigozhin. Now, the report by Politico was published by the European edition of Politico, not the American edition. Both are owned by a German company. I think it's called Axel Springer. That's the German company that owns Politico, both the European and then the American editions. And the publishing time was Central European time. 4 o'clock Central CET. So this European connection in the story is key in the entire Qin Gang saga. The political article said that according to sources in Beijing, or at least 2 sources in Beijing, it was the Russians who revealed Qing's secrets. It was the Russians who revealed the rocket force and Qin Gang's espionage activities to Xi Jinping. And this matched with various Chinese rumors that we've seen in the summer. Everyone, all those rumors that claimed that Qin Gang had died, all attributed the cause to the Russians. So why Russians? Why the Russians? And how did the Russians know about the Chinese espionage activities, right? Well, first things first, let's talk about motivation. Well, the Russians don't like Qin Gang for an obvious reason. Qin Gang is a pro-West CCP foreign minister. He had been advising Xi Jinping that China shouldn't get too close with Russia and should maintain good relations with the West. And one of the examples is shortly after Qin Gang was promoted to state councilor in March and became the foreign minister, on April 26, China surprised many other countries by voting yes for a UN resolution that described Russia as the aggressor in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And this was a language that Beijing had not used. China had never condemned Russia's attack in Ukraine up to that point. And many people attributed this vote to Qin Gang. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Andrei Rudenko was one of the last foreign diplomats that Qin Gang met in Beijing on June 25th before he disappeared. According to Politico, Rudenko's mission of that trip to Beijing was to deliver the message to Xi Jinping that his foreign minister and relatives of his top rocket force officers had helped pass Chinese nuclear secrets to the West or to Western intelligence organizations. Qin Gang was last seen on June 25th. Now, the commander of the rocket force was taken away from his conference room on June the 26th, the day after Rubenko's meeting with Xi Jinping, right? The day after his visit to China. And Qin Gang was presumably removed on the same day because, after he was seen on the 25th, he disappeared. So, most likely, he was removed on the same day as the rocket force commander. So Xi Jinping acted immediately after Rubenko's visit. So what happened before June 25th? If you remember, the mercenary chief, the Wagner's former chief, Prigozhin, orchestrated a brief and unsuccessful mutiny, right, which started on June 23rd and ended on June 24th. And on the following day, which is the 25th, Andrei Rubenko went to Beijing to give Xi Jinping the tip-off. So now let's get to the core question. If Qin Gang's downfall is linked to Prigozhin's mutiny, Chris, if you're there, you can post the survey now. So I'm gonna ask my production help, Chris, to post the survey. You can wait until after I finish my presentation to vote vote your opinion. When I saw the news in June, actually I saw that on June 25th. When I saw the news on June 25th that the Russian deputy foreign minister went to Beijing immediately after the mutiny, I found it very unusual. At the time, the news piqued my interest, and I wanted to know why Putin wanted to send a top diplomat to Beijing in the middle of a major crisis, in the middle of internal crisis. And now we know the purpose of Rubenko's trip was to tip off Xi Jinping about Qin Gang and then the rocket force. But the timing is very unusual, right? What made Putin, this is my question, what made Putin, who was embroiled in an internal, almost existential crisis at the moment, be concerned with Xi Jinping's minister and his generals selling information to the United States? I mean, he might be concerned, but it wouldn't be the right timing. Why would he be so concerned with this in the middle of trying to sort out his own officials and his own ministers, right, who may be rebellious against him? Of all the things he was busy with and that that's on his mind, why would he send his deputy not prime minister, foreign minister to Beijing, right, on the 25th? I mean, he must have made the decision like earlier than the 25th. The fact that the guy met with Xi Jinping on the 25th, and also met with Qin Gang on the 25th, that means the decision to send him was made at least on the 24th, if not the 23rd, right? Because you can't just send someone to visit a foreign country if, you have to let them know, and then, he has to travel to China. So the decision was made obviously on the, before the 25th. It's probably on the 24th or even the 23rd. So I just had that question. Why? The timing seems to be off. So there must be a tie between Prigozhin's mutiny and Qin Gang and the rocket force. Otherwise, the timing of Rubenko's trip is hard to explain. So what I'm about to tell you came from the Chinese internet, from the various Chinese rumor, and I'm going to tell you this cannot be verified. I mention it not because I love rumors. I'm very careful with rumors, but I want to tell you about it because it offers one possible explanation to the tie between Qin Gang and Evgeny Prigozhin. Okay, so in August, one internet post written by a Chinese alleged that, according to sources from Beijing, Qin Gang's mistress, Fu Xiaotian, the TV anchorwoman, was also Prigozhin's mistress. She obtained intelligence from Prigozhin, and also told the mercenary chief, or the former mercenary chief, information about Qin Gang. I mean, the fact that she's a double agent, she probably works for more people than we know. And so she, obtains intelligence from Prigozhin, but also gives him, pieces of valuable information. And these pieces of information include information about Qin Gang. So the Russian intelligence agency thus obtained evidence that Qin Gang is compromised by the Americans. And they also obtained evidence of the rocket force, that is, or the officers, the top leadership of the rocket force, who were leaking information to the Americans. And there are other posts that said that how the Russians obtained this information is through Telegram. Obviously, many Chinese use Telegram, but Telegram was developed by two Russian brothers and is now controlled by somebody who's loyal to Putin. However, Putin might know this before the mutiny. Putin may not be interested in revealing all of this information to Xi Jinping if Prigozhin's mutiny didn't break out. But this is what the Chinese post said. But when the mutiny happened, Putin asked Fu Xiaotian, the mistress, to help talk to Prigozhin during the darkest hours of of the of the coup attempt, whatever you call that. But apparently Fu Xiaotian and Qin Gang refused. This enraged Putin, and so he sent his deputy foreign minister to Beijing the next day, and the rest is history. Of course, we cannot verify this. This is very sensational. What happened between Prigozhin, Qin Gang, and Miss Fu Xiaotian will not be known to the outside world because Prigozhin is dead, and Qin Gang is presumably dead, and Miss Fu is said to be locked up in a prison in Beijing now. Some Chinese say Qin Gang is Xi Jinping's Prigozhin, and others say that the biggest loser of Prigozhin's mutiny, other than himself, it isn't Putin, but Qin Gang. Well, the above is what I can gather for you in a logical manner. Of course, nobody knows for sure if Qin Gang is really dead or not. I think there's still a chance that he may be alive because everything, even the political article, was based on things that came from Beijing, and it's impossible to verify that. We should give Beijing until next week to clear the rumors. It's very easy for them to do. Last time when a deputy minister of public security, Dong Jingwei, was rumored to have defected to the United States, the CCP immediately released pictures and videos to dispel the rumors. So if Qin Gang is alive, it's very easy for CCP to crush Politico's report. But if it doesn't do so next week, that means the report is true and Qin Gang is gone. What puzzles me in this entire story is the crime that Qin Gang has allegedly committed. He obviously did, worse than just covering up an espionage that his mistress is involved in, to be ordered to die, right? He must have done something worse than that. So why would Qin Gang, who was one of Xi Jinping's favorites and who has so much potential to be promoted to even Politburo Standing Committee, be willing to risk everything he had to work for the Americans? That's puzzling to me. And there's only one answer, and that is the CCP officials don't believe in their system, their ideology, or even their leader anymore. And the other thing is the fact that an American political media outlet was given the information to publish this piece means that many individuals within the CCP system are now openly airing Xi's dirty laundry to the outside world. Based on what I heard, the news about Qin Gang being executed is known in the top circles of the CCP, and isn't a secret to those people. And if you really think about it, this impact, if that's true, the impact is significant, because Qin Gang could not have done it alone, right? So the question is, where does Xi Jinping draw the line? Executing officials, up until this point, he hasn't really executed anyone, right? So executing officials is a dangerous move and can be used on a large scale without having the repercussions. People may turn against him. So I think he's in a very difficult situation right now, because how do you tell the rest of the CCP members what exactly happened to Qin Gang? Because he could hide it from the outside world, but he cannot. He needs to tell the other officials what really happened. And how is he going to deliver that message? And it's very difficult just like he can't really explain what happened to the former premier Li Keqiang. People want to know, and how is he going to tell them? And so that's probably why Xi Jinping has not convened the third plenary session of the 20th Party Congress, which should be held in the fall. And that's traditionally for CCP is an important session when all the party members or the delegates come together to discuss the economic directions for the country or for the party for the next 5 years. And he hasn't held that because I think he is not ready to face all the delegates yet. So that's all I have for you tonight. Let's see how the survey come out. I am interested in knowing. I'm not able to see the survey. So if someone can post a survey result for me, I would love to see it. While you do that, let me go through the super chat questions and let me see if there are questions for me. All right. Well, there's some donations. Let's see. Boyka China, love to late. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. The next one is Jeff Ramos. What's the chain of command from Xi's order to execute Qing's death? The operation is carried by the RF or the Chinese SEAL equivalent. It was, from what I read, it's carried out by the Wang Xiaohong, the Minister of Public Security. Right, so China has the Ministry of Public Security, and also the Ministry of State Security. The State Security deals with espionage, like it's the equivalent of CIA, and then the public security is like the FBI. So that's the agency that handled his interrogation. And I do see reports that saying that he was being tortured, and the guy, didn't do very well. So I mean, let me see if there are any results. 28% said yes, 12% say no, and not enough information is 59%. Okay. All right, we'll see. Okay. Not sure. All right. Here I have a question from Master G Big. Like, don't you think that the mistress Fu Xiaotian is a highly manipulated that question disappeared. Is a highly manipulated catalyst that can cause more trouble than she is worth? I agree. I think Qin Gang got into trouble because of her. And many of the people got into trouble because of her. Many of the men got into trouble because of her. So, okay, so 60% said one, not enough information. Okay. And Nick Fury said, I don't see Fu Xiaotian likes Prigozhin. Well, if you're trained to be a spy, I don't know you're allowed to have any feelings for for your subject. So I think liking or not liking here, maybe it's just her job. It's not a matter of that she likes them. All right, women. Yeah. All right, so, well, I'm not surprised by the survey results, and I'm happy that people are not jumping to conclusions. And I think it's very hard. I think it's very hard to know at this point, and I agree with this group's consensus. I think it's very hard to know what really happened, but the timing is just very puzzling for me. That's all I can say. And also, I agree that it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that this woman is is involved with the former mercenary chief. So let me see. Mitsu, I wonder if the US got even more hypersonic missile information, and that is one of China's trump cards. From what I saw, I forgot to tell you that the reason why Xi Jinping was or is so furious about this is he knew or he knows that his plan for Taiwan um, is foiled. Because of this, because of them selling excuse me, selling information to the Americans, his plan for the Taiwan, his whatever plan, military plan to take over Taiwan has been foiled. And that got him, or at least delayed for a number of years. And that got him very, very upset. That's probably why, Qin Gang was ordered to die. Not only because Xi Jinping's plan for Taiwan was delayed, but also, I mean, imagine how much he liked him, right? He promoted him on a fast track, and then only to find out that he turned his back on him. I think that's hard for Xi Jinping to swallow. Um, Thank you, Master G Big. Thank you for the donation. Okay, so now let's see. Any more questions? Ed C. Is the mistress and her baby now in the US? Oh, no. The mistress is locked up in a Beijing prison. There's no way. If Qin Gang has died, I don't think this woman. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, from what I've read, she is locked up in a prison in Beijing. And I also read that when the okay, I need to tell you this. When I first read the Political article, it said that he died from either suicide or torture. So my first reaction was maybe he committed suicide. Maybe he was not executed. Maybe he just couldn't stand being tortured and just committed suicide. But after consulting with some China experts, and I was told that it's impossible. While in detention, it's impossible for anyone to commit suicide, because the CCP, the first thing they want to prevent prevent you from doing is to commit suicide. So they take away, all the pens are special pens. They cut all the buttons. You wear something that doesn't have zippers. Even the walls in your room are covered with bubble wraps so that you don't right. So they take all these precautionary measures to prevent you from ending your life. And that's, I mean, if you think about it, it's CCP. When CCP doesn't want you to die, you cannot die. So they tell me, no, there's no way he can commit suicide while in detention. There's no way. So there's a word, even there's a word called he is suicided. You see, it's a Chinese word, 被自杀. So the Political picked up that Chinese expression, like you're ordered to commit a suicide. So the Political used the word he was suicided. You see, yeah. Let me see. All right, so Mitsu, wow, you said that the Taiwan plan is foiled. Does that mean the cheap labor infiltration plan the Kuomintang wants is sunk, even if they win this election in January? I think even though the plan to take over Taiwan military is foiled, that doesn't mean that CCP is going to stop its activities to take over Taiwan through other means. Right. It of course, now it's going to focus on the Taiwan election, which is coming up in a few weeks, in January. So now it's because the military plan is foiled. So other means, the coercive means, the politically coercive means, they become the natural alternatives. So I think it's more dangerous if the KMT wins the election. Let's see. Address. Yeah, let me see. Max Schroeder, do you think Li Keqiang died because he could have been a good replacement for Xi if Qin and Li Shangfu succeed in a coup? Where is Zhang Youxia? He wasn't on the last trip of Xi. Um, that's a good question. Li Keqiang's death puzzled many people, but people in general do not believe that he died a natural cause. Even the political article, if you read it, kind of hinted that. It didn't say directly, but it hinted that. So where's Zhang Youxia? Zhang was, if Xi Jinping, let's put it this way, I don't know where Zhang Youxia was, but if Xi Jinping loses Zhang Youxia, then I think his political career is over, because he relies on Zhang Youxia to have a good command of the PLA. And Zhang is a princeling and has been in the PLA for many years. So if he loses Zhang Youxia, then his base is he has no one who he can rely on to command the PLA. So even if Zhang does something that's not pleasant to Xi Jinping, I think Xi Jinping probably would tolerate him. And also the chances for Zhang to turn against Xi Jinping, like what Qin Gang did or what Qin Gang possibly did, is very small, right? Let's see. Richard W. Thank you. Thank you for another informative show. Well, thank you, Richard. All right, let's see questions. Texas Panda, do you think the USA can repatriate the baby? I don't think no, I don't think so. I don't think I think the baby, we don't even know what the baby is. The baby is going to I don't know who's raising the baby. Maybe some family relatives on the mother's side. I don't think the CCP will release that baby to anyone outside China. No, even though he's an American citizen. But I don't think the CCP believes he's American. And there's a question from somebody whose name is Russian, I believe. Where was CCDI and CPL? Did he bypass these mechanisms or super hush hush? What's CCDI? CPLAC? Do you think do you think he needs to follow any procedure? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. Sumilan, there are 770 of us in chat, but only 136 people voted on the poll. Okay. Someone, Blake 老师, okay, Blake 老师, hey Lei, 不累, do you think your editor could make a cut of these videos minus the Q&A part at the end? It looks like some folks would like a shortened version of your presentation. People can just watch my video without the Q&A at the end. Do you think I need to cut it like that? I mean, people can just watch the first half if they find the Q&A long. That's why I have not been editing them. But if you guys think it's a good idea to cut a version, just cut the Q&A out. I mean, it's easy for us to do, but I don't know if it's necessary. Maybe we can do another vote. um, maybe I'll do that in the community board. Um, all right, Art Lei, can you make your videos shorter? Your content is very interesting, but most people don't have the time to watch 1 hour video. All right, that's another suggestion. Sure, I can make it 30 minutes. He was suicided against his will. Fractal art. Um, somebody said it's unnecessary to cut the Q&A out. Yeah, I think people can just watch the first half. Yes, your YouTubes are too long. We'll have to have a vote on this. No. I like your show like it is. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions? If not, we will end it here. But I thank you very much for joining me. No? No, just talk faster and give more information in a shorter amount of time. That's what I try to do in my scripted videos. You can speed up when you watch the video afterwards. Let's go 2 hours. Okay, I also love Q&A. Do not change. Okay, all right. I love the length of Lei's videos. They are just right. Okay, talk never long enough, Miss Lei. All right. Okay. Well, no. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. There's never a dull moment. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.